Do you find yourself struggling with life? Do you find that life can sometimes beat you down? Or has worrying consumed you? Are you looking for answers and maybe not finding any? Well, you've reached the right place. Welcome to our podcast, The Bridge, where we focus on you reaching your full potential. Our goal is to see you smile, to see your family come closer, to build a positive relationship, and for you to enjoy your life as we take the time to build the bridge over troubled waters. Come, join us, and get in touch with peace.
Welcome to The Bridge. This is a podcast we're starting to address just everyday common issues that we deal with. And so I want to just take the time to welcome you to the show and let's jump in there. So I like to start my shows with a little bit of an introduction of what we're going to be dealing with. And in today's introduction, I'm going to tell you a story. When I was a young boy, maybe around the age of 14, and my brother was around the age of 15, we started to get the driving itch. And so we would constantly ask my stepfather if he could teach us how to drive. And so eventually one day, he had packed up the truck, and we used to have a little dirt bike that we would ride in the back hills and the backwoods of the area that we lived in. We kind of had a little country area that we were in, and my stepfather, I got to tell you, he was a country boy. So he loaded up the dirt bike uh, on the back of the truck and says, "Let's go ride." And so we're thinking we're just going to be on an adventure. So we head into the backwoods. We get about 5 miles into it. We find our spot where we like to just do some trails, like to ride, like to kick it, and just have fun. And this time was different. So he unloaded the dirt bike, and then he told us to come here. He opened up the truck door. He says, "Hey, that right there is the gas pedal. That right there is the brake. This is the wheel. Here are the keys. I'll see you back at home." And before we could even say anything, he jumped on the dirt bike and then he just left. And as we are like dumbfounded watching him go off into the distance and disappear, it finally dawned on us that he was serious. He wants us to drive home. And so we waited for probably another 30 minutes before we even began to get the courage to actually, talk about how we're going to do this. And of course, my brother being the oldest, he said, "Okay, I'll drive." And so we finally decided that we were going to get in the car, we were going to drive. And then we had to figure out, okay, how do we drive? And so we played around with that for a moment, finally got the truck turned around, felt a little confident in the ability to move the vehicle. But then we were like, okay, how do we get home? Yes, we've been on this path before, but we never drove home. So we didn't really pay attention to the turns like we were supposed to. Now we were familiar with it. And so after about another 30 minutes of debate, we just said, let's just go. And as we see landmarks, we'll decide which direction we go. Now I have to tell you, we had a lot of setbacks and we had to start over and backtrack a lot. But eventually we were able to find our rhythm, got our groove, found our path. We were able to get out of the woods and get to our home. Now, when we got home, our stepfather was sitting on the porch. He was cleaning off the mini bike. And when we got out the vehicle, kind of upset about this whole situation, he just looked at us and says, "Okay, now y'all know how to drive." And I know for some people, you may think, "Oh man, that was bad parenting," or "that was a little overboard," or "why would he put his sons in such a dangerous situation. As an older person now, I see it a little differently. What I see is was an opportunity for us to grow, an opportunity for us to learn, opportunity for us to problem solve. You see, I think these day and times we have compensated for common sense to keep people from being able to problem solve. We have used technology, AI, computers, everything that you can imagine to make life really easy and non-challenging. And I think that has done a disservice. So today we're going to talk about compensating for common sense. Why do we compensate for common sense? All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to then bring on my guest speaker for today. And we're going to jump into this conversation. Why do we compensate for common sense?
Today, I want to introduce you to a fantastic business that's all about helping you find peace and tranquility in your life. It's called A Touch of Peace, and it's a counseling service that specializes in providing a touch of peace. Our team of experienced counselors is dedicated to helping you navigate life's challenges and find the serenity you deserve. Whether you're struggling with stress, anxiety, or just need a little guidance, we're here to support you. So why not give it a try? Reach out to us today and let's start your journey to peace together. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, peace is just a touch away. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content like this. Stay positive, stay peaceful, and see you next time.
All right, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial. Touch of peace. I think we all need it. So I'm about to introduce to you an intern that works for me. I'm really impressed with this young man, and even though he's an intern, he's pretty wise dude. He's a master level intern in the field of psychology. An intern means that he has finished most of or all of his coursework, and now he's being supervised in the field to develop those skills, kind of like how doctors have residencies and stuff like that. So he has a really good mind. He's experienced. He's also from Ghana, um, and he has some foreign experience and some thought processes that may also help us not just from an American Western viewpoint, but also from a out of the country viewpoint as well. Another little secret he probably won't tell you, he's also working on his PhD at the same time. So this guy's a hard worker. I've come to really enjoy our conversations. And so I call him, his name is Silas, but I call him Musa. That's his last name. What's up? What's up? What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for the introduction. I don't think that there is so much for me to waste because I'm kind of thirsty and hungry for the compensating of common sense that we're going to discuss. So the introduction has already been made, and thank you for that. I'm also grateful to have such an opportunity to share my views and opinions as far as issues of concern is concerned. Yeah, yeah. It's something different for me. It's a very great platform for me to kind of maneuver and get the best out of it. But then again, I'm always happy and glad to share my point of view. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let me get into it, man. I like to deal with the controversy of it all. You seem a little older, so you seem like you may have had some experiences before the 2000s. You may have known life before the 2000s. Can I assume that, right? When were you born? What year were you born?
I was born in '79, so
Okay, perfect. So we the same. We around the same age. I'm slightly older than you. So
yeah.
here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. We um we remember a time where you had to figure things out. We didn't have all of these luxuries, or let's say these assistances that we have nowadays. You know, we have so many things that assist us. I remember a time when I was going through school, because I was going through college, my undergrad before 2000s. And I remember anytime we had to do a research paper, we actually had to go to the library and we had to do our own research. We had to find books on related topics, and we had to scour those books until we found what we were looking for. And that would take hours at times. And that's different than now. Now you could just
Right,
Google and you get
right, right,
a whole
right,
list of whatever you want.
right.
Another thing that we used to have to do is we had to read a map. I didn't know what GPS was,
Hmm.
growing up. That was something the military had. You know, when we wanted to get
Yeah,
somewhere, we had to get a map, and we had to outline our path and our route,
right.
and we had to, plan accordingly, and we had to understand how to read road signs and stuff like that, and we had to apply that as we drove. But now you got GPS and you don't have to think. You just plug that GPS in and you go wherever you want to go. I don't know how people got to their friends' houses in our days.
Hmm.
When someone gave us directions, they had to tell us what street to turn on, what to look for. Now all they got to do is just text us their
That's
address.
right. Right, right.
So here's my question to you, then, man. Are we better off with all of the assistances and helps that we have now that makes life easier than we were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, before all this stuff was put in place?
Well, personally speaking, I think that we all grew almost in the same age range. And then when you look at it from this point of view, you realize that things are really completely different as far as the common trend is concerned, and the 90s and 70s and 80s compared together. But then again, the question of whether we are better off with all these assistant devices or not depends on what development it has brought in our life, and then the cons that we are almost forgetting all the time. Because most of the time, when we look at technologies, we kind of celebrate technologies. We celebrate the introduction of technology. We celebrate the introduction of all the devices that come along with the technology. But we forgot to talk about the negatives. And that is what is killing the common sense here. I understand and agree with the fact that technology is really making us to feel at ease, get things done at the right time, and then within the shortest possible time. I know that we make an informed decisions. Why? Because we've got all the data in our hands, and then we can just, go in and say that, in the, let's say in Huntsville, we have 2,000 people living in this area. So if you have to provide road and other utilities, we have to provide according to the number, and that will be done within a click because we have the data. Now, hey, what is happening to the human beings who are going to benefit from the technology we are talking about?
Right. And I believe that we have benefited from technology. Don't get me wrong. I think it has made life has enhanced what we are capable of doing. We can do things now that we couldn't even imagine when I was a kid. I couldn't imagine being able to communicate with someone across the world as if they was right beside me. I couldn't imagine to have so much information at my fingertips. And so
Right.
I'm like you. I don't think technology in and of itself is bad, but I do believe that because we have not considered the negatives of it and have addressed it, we put ourselves in a position to feel these negative effects when we least expect it. And I'll give you a good example. Our kids. Our kids now talk in emojis and three-letter words are in
Right.
subtext.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I'm starting to see as a challenge for young people is to communicate. Young people are having a difficult time expressing themselves because they are out of practice or maybe never even have had the opportunity or the necessity to really identify their thoughts and feelings. So, a lot of young people avoid talking, avoid communicating because it is so difficult. And imagine all the learning opportunities that they miss because they just can't express themselves. It's hurtful, it's scary almost.
Yeah, yeah. You made me think about an issue that is just running through my head right now, and it's a serious concern to me at the moment. I began thinking that even this kind of impatience triggers the issue of disorders that we're having here, attention deficit disorder that we are having. The kids these days are not patient at all. They are always fidgeting and itchy to move and to take information from their parents, even if the parents are not ready to provide them what they are supposed to, get. So the point here is that it's not just doing us the good, the harm is there that we need to look at. And if you look at it with this ADHD issue that I'm talking about, I'm not saying that is a source, but it triggers and increase the symptoms as far as the kids' actions are concerned. If you look at the kids right now, mommy, I need $50, and he wants it right away, or he acts negatively. Mommy, I want an iPad. If the iPad is not given to him or her right away, he must take an action. So, assuming you've got a child who is having or showing ADHD symptoms, what happens next? And he asks you of something you could not provide. There is no patience at all. All the kids now of technology age are impatient because technology has made them they have become so lazy and impatient as far as
Uh-oh,
issues.
you said lazy. You said
Yeah.
you can't call them lazy.
Okay.
You're gonna hurt someone's feelings. You can't call them lazy. And so let me say this. Let me say this because I don't think no one wakes up and says, I'm gonna be dysfunctional. Rarely do I know anyone who's like, man, I'm looking forward to being dysfunctional. And I've worked with a lot of kids, and even those that have behavioral problems. And something I've noticed about kids, especially those who have behavioral
Mhm,
problems,
mhm.
they thrive in very structured environments. You put a kid who have behavioral problems, they could be they can act out, they can be upset, they can be angry, but you put them in an environment where it's structured and healthy, and you have expectations, and they don't have a lot of wiggle room to buck those expectations. You see them becoming some of the most healthiest kids ever. I used to work in a group home for boys. And one thing I used to do is I would take the roughest kid, and I would make him a group leader over three other boys. And so his job was to keep the structure. And you'd be amazed that this one that was always breaking the rules becomes the best rule keeper you ever had, because he felt like he was a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And so
Hmm.
I really believe kids want to thrive. They want to, because I look at them now. When you put them in situations where it's important for them to succeed, like, hey, you got an opportunity here, they get nervous and scared. They may act out, but because they're nervous and scared, it's like, okay, it's your turn to read, little Johnny. And little Johnny start acting bad because Johnny doesn't want you to realize that he can't read. And so I think we have to really challenge, and this is the key. We're going to take a little commercial break here, and we're going to start talking about solutions. But I think we really need to challenge um, technology and all the things we use to compensate with, to make sure that we are not hurting ourselves, and that we are leaving room for that positive growth. Hey man, hey, we're gonna take a short break. I know this was an interesting conversation. I really want those in the chat to really kind of weigh in as well. But let's take this commercial break, man, and we'll be right back.
Life can throw some serious curveballs, right? If you're feeling overwhelmed or just need a little calm in the chaos, let me introduce you to A Touch of Peace Counseling. Imagine having a safe space where you can share your struggles without judgment. We're all about listening to your unique story and helping you find that inner peace you've been craving. It's not just talk, it's about equipping you with real tools to tackle life's challenges head on. Honestly, it's like having a supportive friend who's always got your back. So if you're navigating tough times, don't hesitate. Take that step towards a more peaceful you. Check out A Touch of Peace today, and let's start this journey together. You deserve to feel good inside. Okay? Let's make it happen.
All right, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, we gotta pay the bills, so we gotta do those commercials. Um, so going back to what I was saying, let's talk about what's the solution. We've recognized the problem. The problem is compensating has limit our need to problem solve, to think, to just use common sense. I want us to do this one like we would do volleyball. We're gonna hit the ball to each other back and forth. So,
Okay.
Moose, I'm gonna let you come up with the first one. What do you think is a solution, an easy solution to balance technology and all the things that we're using, but not eliminating common sense?
Okay. First of all, I would like to say that there is lots of intuitive judgment when it comes to compensating the common sense. So in that case, you wouldn't get the children or the people to be thinking and understanding because technology is doing a lot of things for them. So what we have to do is we have to, in my own opinion, that we have to reduce the over reliance of technology. There must be time for everything. When it's time for
Ooh, I
technology,
love
for
that.
stuff to be handled, we should give that to technology. But there are certain times we have to put
I like
away
that.
technology and then just come together as a family or as normal human being without any supporting devices, and let's use our own common sense to brainstorm issues at stake.
I
So,
like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, so mines would be ensuring that the person understands the principle behind the technology before they can have access to the technology. So what I mean by that is that yeah, you can use a GPS once you learn how to read a map. You can use a computer once you learn how to write. You can use a search engine once you know how to do your own research and ask questions, and think. So, before I let you have a car that can drive itself, you got to demonstrate you know how to drive. You understand the mechanics behind it.
right.
So I think that's number one. So before you can have access to technology, you have to demonstrate you understand the principles behind it. All right, I'm lobbying back to you. What's your next one? Give me another one. What's something else that you can do?
Well, the second one I have to talk about has to do with our social gatherings. Technology has made us stay away from families and friends, and we are always connected to our devices as if they are our friends. If we don't take care, we become mechanical people or robots. So therefore, we have to give ourselves an opportunity to connect to our family by way of ensuring that there is what we call social gatherings within the family, within even the schools and all that. And this must be done without introduction or assistance of from what from technology, because all these
Yeah.
things do not give us the opportunity to think and to see how best we can connect with people on a face-to-face basis. We are always thinking of, man, we can talk to somebody through Snapchat, through Instagram, through Facebook. So there is no need for anything like coming to see them, visiting us face to face, going to do. I remember those days when we go, our families come, our relatives they come, and we walk down the pond or the stream and start fishing. This is really
Mm.
interesting. It gives us that kind of connection. So the social gatherings that we're talking about must be something that we have to ensure that it exists, but not from distance, but also face to face, where we can physically interact with each other.
I love it. I love it. I love the we need to ensure that we make time for real social interaction. For me, the principle would be in my next one, the principle would be don't do anything. Don't let something else do what you can do for yourself. Like if you can build sometimes it's the process, not the end result. So, I talk to people all the time, and a lot of times they will start a project and it goes just to the end as quick as possible. But I say there's some enjoyment in the process. Be a part, let the process play out. Take the time to enjoy the tough time, the difficult time. We want to live in a microwave society. We want things to happen immediately. We see it, we want it to happen. And there's no real process in the middle of it. We because a lot of times we will quit. If there is a process, we will quit. We're like, nah, we just want to get to the end. We just want to, I don't care how it happens, just let's get to the end. But enjoying the process and the growth that happens within it, I think is something that we should thrive for and as a community expect. All right, last one. You get one, I get one. What's your last one?
Well, the last one I will call it, let's do a lot of DIY, project, which is take on do it yourself. Take on do it yourself kind of project. That is home repairs, woodworkings, or crafting to develop our practical skills. So we have to take on certain things, do it ourselves. So when I travel or I drive around the countries, I become happy seeing people staying independently by having their own tools, trying to repair their own roofings, trying to repair their own, to do their own ponds, to get their own trenches, to make sure everything is done all by themselves. This ensures creativity in life. This ensures the use of common sense. This ensures reducing so much of spending by trying to be much economical simply through using what we call a common sense. So DIY is the last, but for me, one of the powerful on my side. Take on, do it yourself.
You kind of stole mine, but it's a little bit different. And you hone in on the word creativity. Creativity, I think, is so important. And believe it or not, you can use technology in this aspect. This is where technology can be used, is when you use it to get creative, when you do something that has never been done before or in a different way. And so I love that, being creative. I love doing it yourself. I love, doing something and not trying to utilize technology to do it, taking a break from it, putting it in its right proper space. All those things I think are important. The key to life is balance. The key to life is balance. And we have to be balanced in our life if we want to maintain that peace. Musa, man, once again, man, I appreciate you coming on. You're gonna be my permanent co-host, man. That's just what.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna find some other people.
Yeah, sure. That'll be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be my permanent co-host. All right, we're gonna sign off. We want to just hit quit subjects like this all the time. So tune in, guys, because we're going to hit really tough but important subjects. And always remember, stay in touch with peace, guys. We'll see you soon.
Do you find yourself struggling with life? Do you find that life can sometimes beat you down? Or has worrying consumed you? Are you looking for answers and maybe not finding any? Well, you've reached the right place. Welcome to our podcast, The Bridge, where we focus on you reaching your full potential. Our goal is to see you smile, to see your family come closer, to build a positive relationship, and for you to enjoy your life as we take the time to build the bridge over troubled waters. Come, join us, and get in touch with peace.